I've had a lot of cancellations, and one that you referred to there in the Jewish community. Obviously, if I told a joke like that now, I would be, highly praised by the Greens Party or those type of people in Australia. But back then, it was bad to be horrible to Jewish people. It's obviously changed quite a bit, but now people know me personally. They know what I'm like. They know the type of man that I am, and know that everything that I say on stage is made in jest. There's no hatred, except for the Jewish stuff, obviously.
An Australian comedian being dragged through the Human Rights Commission over a joke he made at a comedy festival has suddenly had his matter withdrawn. Isaac Butterfield joins us now to share the full story. Can we start from the beginning? What happened?
Yeah, I received papers at the front of my door with the Human Rights Commission of Queensland's logo on it, and I was like, oh, this is different. And I opened it up, and I had this whole complaint written about me, about a particular set of jokes or jokes that I told, and somebody posted them on TikTok. They recorded the show and posted them. I posted them. That was me. I was the somebody, which was probably a mistake. But anyway, you live and learn. Maybe keep the real horrible stuff for live shows. But anyway, someone had just filled in an online questionnaire. Very simple and easy to fill out. You don't have to pay anything. You just lodge it. And then that person is then called upon by this government organisation. They have to then front a tribunal, a group of people, and you have to come to some sort of agreement. I guess the lady in question wanted an apology and training. I'm not sure what the apology would have got her, and I'm not sure what type of training I would have been receiving, but that's what they asked for. And I think the big lesson out of all of this, Avi, is that there's far too much government interference in what people can and cannot say in this country. We don't have the protections that other countries have, the US has. Basically, we are just much like Canada, I guess. We're just at the whim of the government. Whatever they want to do, they can do. And that's the big fear here.
So firstly, the jokes, were they actually funny? Because I've watched some of your stuff, and I've got to say, it's hit or miss.
What are you talking about?
Were they funny?
Yeah. Obviously, with comedians, there's going to be some sort of things that you say on stage. It's the first time you say it. It might be a risk. It might not be good, but not these. These were, road tested, tried and tested material. So I thought they were funny. Do I think it's groundbreaking? Do I think it's going to change the world? Do I think it's amazing stand-up that's going to bring down, the patriarchy or bring down some sort of a higher power? No, it's just me talking to a group of like-minded people in a room, all just saying the most horrible things possible to make each other laugh, things we don't mean, in the nicest way possible. And that's the great thing about the shows that I do, that I absolutely love, that it's people of all different colours and creeds, different people from different backgrounds, jobs, occupy, whatever. We've got people from everywhere. So to have people say that, it's not funny or whatever, it's a matter of interpretation, I guess, and it's up to everyone to say what they find funny and what they don't. Much like music, some people like heavy metal, some people don't. It's fine by me. If you don't like my comedy, don't pay the money and come and see me. What
was your reaction at that time when you opened the letter and you seen I'm being dragged to court for a joke I made at a comedy show?
Well, there was a bit of fear because I was just about to have my son. My wife and I, she was heavily pregnant, and I was like, oh, we really don't need this right now. What does this mean? There were a lot of questions, and a lot of the questions couldn't even be answered by the law professionals that we engaged. They were like, I don't know what this means. This is sort of never really been tested, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, I've had a lot of cancellations, and one that you referred to there in the Jewish community. Obviously, if I told a joke like that now, I would be, highly praised by the Greens Party or those type of people in Australia. But back then, it was bad to be horrible to Jewish people. It's obviously changed quite a bit, but now you can get away with that. But then it was a lot of hatred towards me, but a lot of anger. But I was saying to people, I said, mate, I don't know any Jewish people. I don't have anything negative against Jewish people. I was just making fun of people. That's all I'm doing. That's all I do on stage. There's jokes in the show about the victims of the Bali bombing that were a majority white Australians, but you don't hear people, being upset about that. It just so happens that if you touch on subjects that are taboo, people get really upset, and they say that it's low-hanging fruit. And I don't know. I just don't see people of a different color to me as low-hanging fruit. I just think, it's not punching down. It's just, if it makes people laugh, then it makes people laugh, and that's all that matters. I have a lot of people of different colors that come to the shows, and I've never had someone say to me that that was too far or too outrageous. It's always people in comment sections and writing in the media. All these people who have never been to comedy shows, and people I wouldn't want to be around. It's funny because it always seems to be the people that have some sort of hidden agenda, or something will come out about them in the future. They've said something or done something, then they'll get fired from their jobs, and you're like, oh, you were just, virtue signaling how much of a bad person I was. But anyway, people know me personally. They know what I'm like. They know the type of man that I am, and know that everything that I say on stage is made in jest. There's no hatred, except for the Jewish stuff, obviously.
Yeah, I'm with you there. We're both going to get cancelled for this one. But the substance of the actual complaint, what was it saying? What was it claiming?
So the complaint claimed, and I'll paraphrase this, that basically this person didn't feel safe in their community and didn't feel that their children were safe because of the racist remarks that I made on stage. And I don't know. I know it is a joke about race, but whether or not it's racist or not, I guess that's up to a lot of different people to decide their own opinion of that. But was I happy that this was the outcome that ended up happening? Was I happy that this person, had to go through this? Not really. Like, I wasn't happy that this person had to feel like this. Like, this isn't good. Obviously, this person, I don't believe this person was genuinely trying to just take me down. I think they were genuinely, upset, and that's not a good thing. But if you try to hide jokes away from people that might upset them, then there'll be never a joke told ever again. Every joke has some sort of offense towards somebody. And I just don't want to be in a comedy world where people are tiptoeing around humor, because in reality, when you're on stage, something might come to you in a second. And if you're there second guessing yourself because you're worried about being cancelled, then you're not going to be the best type of comedian that you can possibly be. So that's a worry for other comics. But I'm in the position where I can afford to go and get lawyers and look at all this and look at our options. But there's a lot of other comedians out there that don't have that. And if this went further in the Human Rights Commission of Queensland, there could have been precedents set that could have really disrupted comedy throughout this country, and freedom of speech in the arts and in journalism or whatever. So I'm glad that it was eventually dropped. It never really sort of eventuated. But the fact that it could get to the point where I received letters and being called to come and appear in front of this almighty commission, I think that's a little bit too far and too much control. But in saying that, maybe maybe to play devil's advocate, maybe there's a place for people to be protected. Or there should be a place for people to be protected from genuine hate speech. But is comedy hate speech? Absolutely not.
Did you already have to submit stuff? Had you done anything, or were you just preparing?
We were just going back and forth. And this is the thing, like, this isn't a proper, this isn't a proper court case. This hasn't got to that point yet. It could possibly have gone to that point, but it's just easier to say in YouTube titles that it's a court, proceeding rather than a tribunal, and rather than you guys coming together and meeting and trying to work out a place where everyone's happy. Because that's where it could have gotten to. But the things that I submitted were, basically to my legal guys that, this is the material, this is what happened, this is all this type of stuff. Taking time out of my day when I had a newborn son to go in and defend something that's just absolutely crazy that has to be defended. That was probably where we were at. And we were just waiting to hear something. We didn't hear anything for like a year. Once we moved the original date, we heard about a second date and then never heard anything again, and then it was withdrawn. So
okay, so that's the correspondence that was happening, just trying to work out a date as to when there will be a hearing. What was the advice you were getting from your legal team? Were they worried about it?
Well, they didn't know. Like, this hasn't happened with a comedian, so we didn't really know what would transpire. I was ready sort of fight it, because I genuinely believe that freedom of speech in this country is very, very important, and you should have the freedom to offend people. Not that that is what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to offend them with harm. I'm trying to offend people with humor. I think there's a big difference, but it could very well have gone anyway. I don't know, and I guess it hasn't been tested. I think it's out there now for someone else to receive this sort of complaint and go through this process, and maybe they will see it through. I'm not too sure.
Are you going to change your style of comedy so that you don't end up in this? No.
I'm a bigger piece of shit than ever.
I think on that note, well, we'll see you back here soon where we follow through the second half of this story. If you think it's important for the world to see what's happening here in Australia in the name of, I guess, protecting people's feelings, make sure to like, comment, but most importantly, share it far and wide, because the mainstream media, well, they've gone MIA. They're not going to say anything until it's too late and it becomes illegal for a comedian to tell a joke at a comedy festival. So it's up to you guys to spread the word. And then if you think interviews like this one are as important as I do, please head over to buildourstudio.com to help us cover the last remaining bills in building the state-of-the-art studio that allows us to interview people from across the country like Isaac Butterfield and others around the world in a matter of seconds. But none of this is possible without your help. So please, buildourstudio.com. Let's get it done together.